Hey everybody, it's Kenny K here again, and I am bringing you a zombie movie, an Italian zombie movie from the era of zombie Italian ripoff movies, 1980s Virus, aka Hell of the Living Dead. Now, you all know probably one of the most notorious ones is Zombie or Zombie 2 or Zombie 2 or whatever from Lucio Fulci, which isn't a bad movie. I also like City of the Living Dead, which is zombie-esque related, but a lot supernatural too. Um, and a lot of these movies, they say, whoa, whoa, they made good money. Let's just jump on the bandwagon. Same with slashers back in the day. So this one is directed by also a known director called Bruno Mattei, and he was the godfather of cheesy Italian rip-off movies. He made like uh, Cruel Jaws, which is basically a combination of all the current Jaws movies. It's but I think he was an editor for Hard Target. I'm not sure with Jean Claude Van Damme, but editor or something. Jesus, if that's true. But he had a reputation and not a bad one. But and apparently another guy directed this, Claudio Fragasso, which I don't know what he did. I didn't look it up. But the movie starts with we see this chemical plant, basically a big plant, and there are these professors, and you have these two professors going into the room where all the canisters of this uh, green gas is, and there's a leak, and they have their hazmat suits on, and one lonesome rat in the chemical room is infected and attacks one of the hazmat guys. And of course, you know what's gonna happen. Then the movie pivots to um, back in the city, and we see a sort of anti-terroristic group that is basically in this government building, and they want this and this, like in what was it, Antifa or whatever, or those guys. I mean, these guys that that uh, extreme Greenpeace, but the extreme version like that, and but weapons, guns, and the police can't get in, so they call in these anti-terror special forces led by a guy named Lieutenant London and his three uh, commandos. They go in, four guys, they kill like 20, 30 terrorists, and they do the job. Now, of course, the, of course, the island in the chemical plant was on an island, like uh, Lucio Fucci was also the Zombie 2 was also an island. Cannibal Holocaust was also an island. They get word something went wrong, and this woman named Leah Rousseau, played by an actress named Maggie Newton, don't know what she did, says that she thinks there's something happened in the plant. She knows somebody there, and blah 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 blah. One thing leads to another, and they go to that island to go and see what happened and potentially rescue and kill terrorists because they think it's terrorists at that time. and that's and of course they arrive at the island, and instead of being welcomed by terrorists with machine guns, they're welcomed by zombies. Now, did this movie deliver like Zombie 2? No. Not for me. Um, but I'll start off with the positives. The special effects. One thing you have to say with these Italian rip-off zombie movies from the 80s, they have impressive practical effects, gore, uh, like bites out of the neck with the flesh being ripped out. Really, they're really trying to make it anatomically correct and things like that. And also, I had to say that not all zombies, but a few zombies in Virus were really well done. Like half the face was gone and a naked skin and one eyeball, and it was really great. There were a few well done made zombies, and that's it. Let's go to the negatives. You can clearly see this is a movie that had budgetary constraints. The fact that a rat crawls into a guy's hazmat suit, which normally hazmat suits are completely sealed off, but these were just like towels around their head with goggles taped on them, and the rat crawls underneath it, bites him. You see the blood coming. That is, I mean, of course, chemical gas comes out, and of course, the chemical gas just goes right between the gaps of the hazmat suits. So, okay, this may be a nitpick, but come on. Hazmat suits that aren't hazmat suits? Okay, so, and I also think that the island setting, it's always, if you pay attention, these zombie movies always seem to be on islands with poor indigenous people and like voodoo. um I mean, yeah, like indigenous people and uh, poor people or whatever, and then poor housing and on islands, and then I'm guessing that's also a budgetary restraint. I'm thinking they put most of their budget in the first scene, which is, like I said, with all the cops, and then the government building, and the raid, which is also ripped off from, like I said, the island setting is ripped off from Zombie 2, in my opinion. And then the raid, you know, is actually a little bit like Dawn of the Dead, where the SWAT team, the police, and the National Guard, it, they're in front of this housing project. These buildings and these gang bangers are basically holding themselves in they don't want anybody in, and they come out, and there's a shootout, and one thing leads to another, and you also get the zombies. This looked a little bit like that, except without zombies, but terrorists. Uh, the acting. wasn't great. Really wasn't great. You've got so you've got these four guys are sent, and um, you have a few other people, and Leah Rousseau, and you have her camera guy, and the camera guy, Leah Rousseau, is like this. She's the one who knows somebody at the plant, but she's also into these, what's it called? People that are indigenous, not paleontologists. I wanted to say no, it's something else. Tribe with tribes and things like that. At some point, she's even going naked. She's painting her face and her tits, and she's going naked into this tribe. In this tribe, in the middle of an island full of zombies, and this plot point comes out of nowhere. You all, like I said, and then the special forces guy who actually are exactly dressed like the two SWAT guys from Dawn of the Dead, Roger and I always forget the black guy. uh, Roger and you know who I mean. Dawn of the Dead, the SWAT guys, they're dressed exactly the same. And I mean, you've got a guy in there who's batshit crazy. He's like, he has this. I think he already goes crazy or something. He sees these zombies, but these zombies are like not dangerous. They're more of a nuisance than actually dangerous because he's just playing with them. He's poking them with his barrel, then blasting their heads off. He's toying with them, and he's acting like he's what the fuck, and nobody, that lieutenant, that the CO of that, the commander of that group, isn't saying anything to that guy. He's not really. Oh, you asshole! Don't do that. You're putting your life and especially my team's life at risk. Another guy goes into a house, raids this closet, sees a dress, and puts it on his commando outfit, starts to fire. I mean, they're going bonkers. So the acting is really the lieutenant, and like I said, Rousseau. That the, there were cracks here and there where they were acting okay, but most of the time it was horrible acting, and it didn't make sense. Well, why do you let your one of your special forces guy playing with these zombies that will ultimately lead to his demise, and he's, oh, I've gotten bitten, oh, and a guy going to wear a fucking dress, and then I mean, it's the same zombie nuisance. That's the reason why I don't watch The Walking Dead anymore, because in the beginning, the first seasons, zombies were dangerous. But then later on, zombies were used for entertainment purposes or guarding or whatever. They were a nuisance They were a nuisance more than a danger. The humans were more dangerous. And the governor, Negan, and all that crap. But I always see zombies as Resident Evil zombies from, let's say, Resident. If you ever played PlayStation 1, Resident Evil 2 or 3, Nemesis, you see this tsunami of zombies coming into barging into Raccoon City, like waves and the police doing this last stand and they can't hold. That's what I see in zombies. That's dangerous, creepy, you know. But here again, these zombies are slow nuisances, and the reason why these guys, if these guys get killed by zombies, is because they're not paying attention, or and they get bum rushed by a bunch of zombies, or there's one behind him who he just knocked out and he still lives and bites him in the ankle or something. I didn't see this movie yesterday to review this one, so sorry if I'm, I don't know the exact way, but I'm not gonna spoil things. Eventually, they make their way to the chemical plant. You also had one guy who was the least. I mean, the lieutenant was the least. I mean, he was the most composed guy, but actually, in my opinion, the fact that he didn't say anything to those two Nimrods of special the third guy who was like the second in command, he was always I think he knew, I'm gonna stay at the background, kill some zombies and don't be an asshole. He was okay. And the thing is, let's say Lucio Fucci's Zombie 2 had a lot of these extra stories that nicely intertwined with the story. Like you had the tiger shark, remember, with the zombie versus the tiger shark. You had the professor on the island who was trying to help them and was a good actor in my opinion and didn't believe in voodoo. He said this is scientifical and this is science, this is voodoo, and eventually it is voodoo, but sorry, spoilers, but I like that. But here you've got, I don't know what it was, but it looked like they were just going from town to town to town. I mean, village, 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 zombie, 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 zombies, until people getting killed along the way, until they get to the plants. And the plants, you see, it's weird. I mean, it's like this huge building. You should see it. It's an island. You should see that plant, and there are no like palm trees around it or something. It's like a plant in an industrial zone. So I'm guessing most of their budget, like I said, went to that first scene, that terrorist raid, and I'm guessing to hire that plant where they could act. No, like I said, they're ripping off uh, Zombie 2 to an extreme amount, Dawn of the Dead to an extreme amount, um, and I can live with that because Zombie 2 did that too, ripping off. I mean, hell, he said first that it was a sequel to Dawn of the Dead, but when I reviewed that movie, somebody said something interesting, and I thought, oh, that's insane. I had a comment, and the guy said, I think it's more of how the zombie virus, because at the end of this is spoiler, of course, for Zombie. If you ever see Zombie 2, go watch it, and I recommend it. So here's a spoiler for that movie. You see all the zombies in the what's it called, the Golden Gate Bridge, or in New York, or what's it called, the a big bridge going to the city, and that the reason of the zombie outbreak is actually stems from the island and the zombies that came with the sailing boat, an unmanned sailing boat in the harbor of New York, and one of the zombies bit one of the one a maritime cop, and the zombie itself fell off the boat. and in a, I believe, in deleted scene that never was found, that same, it was a fat zombie, came out of the water and attacked a bunch of hobos. And the other one woke up in the coroner's office. So there you go. The outbreak starts while the other people are on the island. But you had all these stories, right? And here it's just going from town to town to town. And it was boring. It was boring. And the ending was weird. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm giving this movie. I mean, this movie gets a 4.8 on IMDb, which is way too much for my opinion. I give it a 2. But if you like zombie ripoff movies, if you like Bruno Mattei, give it a watch. Like I said, credit where credit is due. Good practical effects, good gore, few really well creepy made zombies, and yeah. So that being said, see you next time. Bye bye.